Hi, welcome to Dreamless Expo 2022. And
Yeah.
we're the admin team, and we're presenting to you a project that we did earlier this year called the Dream Dust Bumper. So remember, there was like a trend going on online, particularly TikTok, where people were doing like the adult swim bumper. We're like, we're gonna do a Dream Dust bumper and turn it into a challenge for our server, and we did it. And then the server was like, "That's so cool," and then they just left us alone.
Yeah, left us hanging.
They left us hanging. I mean, one person did a bumper, but
There were several people interested.
Yeah, big up to Deborah who did a bumper. But yeah, we're gonna present that bumper today, and we're going to talk about it and our process for doing it, because quite a few people in the Discord want to be professional animators or want to be in animation studio and have never experienced making something on their own, like a full thing from beginning to end in the context of a team. So we're just going to take our time to go through what our process was like and answer your questions.
Just a quick explanation of what exactly it is past that, what Janelle mentioned. It's a 15-second animated short, and it was done from a custom list that we created. We shared that list with the community after the fact and told them to pick a prompt from the list, and they could create their own. Most of the prompts on the list were something that creatives could relate to, not just locally but internationally. And yeah, so.
Okay, so I'm Janelle Brown. Online, I'm known as Roxanne. I founded Dream Dust, and
yes. Our leader.
I acted as a rough animator on this project. I mean, I pitched the idea, and then I acted as rough animator on this specific project. Next.
I am Nathaniel, also known as Stratus online. I acted as animator and special effects animator on this project in particular. I did cleanup as well, so color, line art, etc. Next. Should have went in order the pipeline, which means Adam should have started.
Yeah, so I guess Adam's next.
Adam, you there? Okay, not hearing Adam. Adam was our storyboard artist on the project, and so he took the script that we all created and then ended up drawing out the different panels of how the story should play out. He's also known as another one online.
Hi, my name is Daniel Parchment. I'm the character designer. I created the girl. She doesn't have a name. Anderson.
She doesn't. Yeah, that's true. We didn't give her a name.
Shrimpiana? Shrimprella?
All right, you had given her like a weird code name.
Hi everyone, I'm Joel McFarlane, known as I Am Jojo. Online, I was in charge of doing the post-production and working alongside Kimani, just like doing the final effects. Yeah.
So
speaking of Kimani, hi. Hold on.
This pops up in.
I am Kimani. I'm known as Jamani Art online. I did the backgrounds and the color keys for the bumper
And the music.
and those scenes that kind of look colorful.
Style frames
as well. Yeah, style frames. Yeah, that was me as well.
And the music.
I mean, I'm still here, but like you also.
And he did the music.
Oh, and the music, I forgot.
Thank you.
So we're going to play the bumper right now, so you guys can check it out. and then we will talk some more.
All right.
Leave transition. Has gone through or not, because
It's
we're
fine.
here.
You're fine.
No, remember the thing I've later.
Mhm.
We'll play it again. The sound kind of skips, and then we'll play it again. Don't really. Trust me. Okay.
It's played.
Yes, please. So back to the Discord.
All right, so we're back. So they're seeing our faces now. So I guess. All right, so I said before that this process started because like I saw the Adult Swim trend going on online, and I thought it was really cool. And part of our goals at Dream Dust, like the Expo, the Discord, just like us. One of our goals is to get people to just make stuff. Like a lot of people in Jamaica, well, not a lot of people in Jamaica, but a lot of people who want to be animators or in animation in Jamaica, they say they want to do it, but then like they don't do it. They don't do work for whatever reason. Maybe they're nervous or they don't like they're insecure. They don't feel like they know enough to try anything. Or maybe they're just unaware that they can do something outside of class, because some people, they go to class and they wait for their lecturer to tell them to do something, like tell them to do homework, and then they do it. And we're trying to encourage people to just do stuff for fun. You learn a lot better, like you learn a lot quicker, like that. So that was the intention behind this activity. We're like, just do something, just have fun, do it. Like we'll provide the music, we'll give you a format, we'll give you a message to base your bumper around. We made a list of those messages, and we chose "Sit Up, You're Not a Shrimp," because all of us are known to hunch over our computers late into the night.
Read the list out if you want of the other prompt ideas that we had come up with.
Yeah, sure. Read it out.
Okay, so as Jenny said, we had picked "Sit Up, You're Not a Shrimp," but the others were "Remember to Save," "Stop Working, It's 6 a.m., "Stop Undervaluing Yourself, Charge What You're Worth," "Draw What You Love. It's okay if you don't reinvent the wheel. You don't have to make your passion a career. You can get a boring job to fund your passion on the weekends." You're on the wrong layer again. That one's so relatable.
Very important. Because
Back up your files. Murphy is about to strike.
yes,
Go play. Go to sleep. Your value is not based on your productivity. Go put on deodorant. You stink. Shut up. Who came up with that idea? That sounds like Joel. That sounds like Joel's idea. Shut down your computer. It needs a break too. And the last one was just have to believe, say you're great, and make it happen. That was definitely Kimani's idea.
No, that was me too.
It was you too? Oh yeah. It's all like something Kimani always say.
I think that came from a conversation that I was having with a mutual friend, Jet Lane, somebody that I've been working with for the last 5 or 6 years or so. And we're talking about being delusional as an artist and how you can be anywhere in any situation, and being an artist is just like a luck of the draw. So you kind of just have to believe that you're going to be something amazing and then make it happen. And then Jet like made it very neat. Believe, say you're great, and make it happen. And I've just been using it that way ever since. So yeah, that was heavily inspired by that conversation with Jet.
How did we settle on picking that one? Because these are all really good and relatable.
We voted.
Yeah, we voted.
We did.
Voted, yeah, and the shrimp one was the one that everybody was consistently picking. So I think it was like a narrow window. Something
Yeah, I
else.
feel like that usually happens.
Tiebreaker.
Yeah, Nathaniel was the
He's
tiebreaker.
always the tiebreaker.
Why am I always the last one who has to decide what? Well, anyways. So yeah, we decided to go with Sit Up Here Not a Shrimp, which, while working on the video, was not clearly enough of a reminder because my back was bent the entire time.
My shadow. I think it's a good time to go to the actual making of
Yeah,
video.
probably. We should shift football.
So we're gonna play the making of video now. Everybody silent. Hold on. This is gonna be weird for a second. Stay with me.
Hi, Adam.
It's a transition effect.
Cool. Like, do you have both stuff to like?
Her hands are really weird, actually. You've seen her hold up and see, like, everything is, like, really elastic.
I've
I just wait. Them can't hear us talking in the background, can they? Bobby.
back on this.
So we're back
Yeah.
on Discord.
Yeah.
Are we going to? Can we show Deborah's thing like right now?
Right now, yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's show Deborah's bumper, like her super cool bumper.
Yeah.
We can talk in the meanwhile.
What was like
Oh,
our brainstorming process for this? Like, how did we say that, like, since we refer to like the person as a shrimp, like the character, since we're referring to them as a shrimp, we're just going to draw them as a shrimp? Was that it, or?
I mean, actually, I want us to start before that. Remember the whole back and forth we had about the music? There was this discussion with Kimani iterations about,
right. Kimani.
there was a lot of reggae over undertones, and we said we wanted to feel a little bit more international than that.
Yeah. There was a lot of back and forth between me and Kimani, specifically trying to come up with the sound. I don't know. Kimani, you have those on hand that you could just yank up and play some of the variations?
I do, but a lot of them are not mixed, and to bring them would be
okay. Never mind. But there were several variations. One of them felt too cliche, is what was said in the chat.
Yeah.
Some of us liked it, and it sounded very typical under a palm tree reggae vibes, which I did not vibe with at all. Yeah, I didn't vibe with that because I was like, yo, I tired of every time somebody making something sound or look Jamaican, we'll have to use that typical sound. I at one point I did want it to sound kind of dancehall more than reggae. We tried that. It didn't really. It sounded amazing, but it didn't fit the vibe of what we were going for.
Actually, that's like a balancing act that like we're constantly having amongst ourselves. For Dream Dust, because if you notice that Dream Dust was made by a bunch of Jamaicans, and we're like, it's going to be regional. It's going to feel like ours, but there are no Jamaican colors in the Dream Dust branding, like the logo or logo mark. Like nothing we've done feels black, green, and gold. And while we wanted to feel like us, we were not willing to fall into like the stereotype of almost every other attempt to make this thing feel like oh, this is Jamaican, we can claim it up, or this is Caribbean, we can claim it. Like that hibiscus, coconut tree, black, green, and gold sort of thing. We didn't want to do it, and we continue that.
Yeah, none of them.
Yeah, we continue that like balancing act and that conversation to like everything that we do. So while we were coming up with the music, I was just like, I want us to keep that in mind, but also remember that we had chosen a particular vibe for everything Dream Dust at the very start of this in 2020, and I want us to keep that up during the music. And then I just left them and then do it, which is great. Like, it's great to be on a team that you can say, hey, I have a cool idea, and people agree with the cool idea, and then there's somebody else who can do it better than you, which is nice. It's great being on a team like that, because I just left for like a day and I came back and they had whittled it down to like 3 options of music that we could choose from, and then we voted on that one.
Yeah, I think Adam was a tiebreaker for that one. I think if it's
actually, yeah, I think for the music it was, because I mean I was working with Kimani on the several of them, so like my opinion was already like set in stone from the beginning.
And then after that we started the visuals, like the concept.
Yeah, I think during that stage Daniel was working on the characters in the meantime. So
yeah, but like, how did we decide that the person would be a shrimp instead of just curled over like a shrimp?
I mean, well, I don't remember actually.
It was just
so it was just Daniel. So Daniel was the one who just drew a shrimp, and then.
I mean, I feel like we all brainstormed that we wanted the transformation to happen in particular, because I do remember that there was what do you call it? All of us kind of like jotted down either sketch ideas and done animations, because I remember I had done like a really quick animation in Procreate, showed you guys, and he's like, yeah, it works, but like it's not like funny and whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fair. I still have that. I mean, I can't pull that up, but like I do remember that happening. So I don't remember if we had decided before that or during that time.
If memory serves, it was more like just coming together as we are now and just throwing out funny ideas. Like, it would be funny if she turned from like I think first we said like she turned into a shrimp,
I think I can
and then
show.
we said maybe the
Is it gonna
opposite.
play? Maybe. I don't remember. This was an earlier idea. Is it gonna play? Do the thing. Hello?
It should, but I'm pretty sure we have this written down somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but this was after. This was after.
Yeah, this was after,
done.
'cause it's closer to
This
the
was
character.
clearly after. Yeah, the characters
Yeah.
were already done by this time. So
Daniel
you're right.
did like a great job with the character design though. Like she gave us all these options and all of them were just versions of Danielle herself. Like especially
I said pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean yes, they also reflected my personal character, which is Punsi, which is like a representation of myself. But like Daniel, there's this one drawing in particular where the character had like its teacup and her head tie and like she was curled over like an old woman. I'm like, this is how Danielle pictures herself as an old woman, because Danielle's
That one
always
is not on the
talking
side.
about being old. Like that character specifically, that's Danielle. And then she just gave us like these really cute, charming, appealing characters, and the one with the purple hair with like a bite mark taken out of her panty, that was the one, like that was the one that really
The panty did seal it.
yeah,
That was a debate for a while. Like, yo, where did that bite mark
Yeah,
come
bite,
from?
like,
Why is it? Daniel was like, guys, it was just like a tear, and I was like, yeah, it looks like somebody chomped out of the underwear.
No, okay, that one also was inspired by Kunsi, and I feel as if I could relate because, like, we all have that favorite underwear that we wear until it's like as
Completely
whole.
destroyed. But yeah, Jenny had created a TikTok video where Quincy sacrificed that old underwear, and so that's where Daniel had gotten the reference from to make that.
so yeah. So
Don't cry. Don't cry.
no, I still think that thing is funny. Like anyway, so we chose that character design based on the bite mark in the panty, and and then we were like, okay, so she's a shrimp and she's a person and she's going to transform, which is just like the most perfect thing because I love transformations. And then we started working on
That's when we
boards.
started ideation for. I think the boards came after the ideation for the transform because Adam needed to know how they were going to transform before he could draw the boards. So I mean, besides the one that I showed earlier, this was I think Kamani's idea, which ended up being the final. Come on, focus.
No, that was me.
Oh, it's you. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
so-
a lot of back-breaking and very expressive. I loved it. I was like, yeah, this one's funny.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
ended up
so-
running with that one.
Yeah, and then Adam was like, okay, I'm going to do boards.
Actually, I think the two of we came up with that at the same time, you know.
Yeah, I feel like both of you had a similar version, and we ended up mixing the two.
But we used yours because, you know, you're better at posing characters than I am.
Oh, okay. Yes, Adam.
Everybody just grazed over the script writing where there was the whole
Oh.
debate of
Right.
we go visuals only. Like that was a big thing. Like, do
Alright.
we need to stick
Yeah,
to
that was
When we
very
started,
firm. Like we need a method. We're going to talk about
yeah,
show
I
that
was
we're
very strict. I was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
strict when it came to following the pipeline, and even though it was just 15 seconds, I was just like, yo, do things properly, because this was supposed to be a learning experience as well. So we're supposed to record every step of the process so that we could share it, which we're doing right now, and explain to people that these are the different parts of animation and how you can be involved without actually being an animator. And so, as you can see, our team is split up specifically into different roles, and so only two of us ended up animating. The rest of us did completely different things. So I was adamant on script writing is part of that process. It has to be done, and all of us need to be on the same page, because whenever you express an idea and we think that we're on the same page, you find out a lot later down the line that, yeah, I never really fully understood what you were talking about when we explained the idea.
I feel as if this kind of bleeds into Collaboration Unite, where we had to get on the same page. Because when we started, we kind of wanted to wing it, kind of.
Yeah.
And like we had to debate, like we needed a script in order to like have the pipeline down. So we weren't all together. We had to come together and just deal with this one thing.
Yes, I was very strict on what you're saying, Kimani.
Yes, I'm going to share the website now. So they will see your beautiful faces for a while. I'll be sharing it. Okay. Mad, cool and good. But they can still hear you, so I'm not.
Okay, so we can.
You can scroll down to the script section and show it.
Yeah, it's already there. It's already
biggie size it. So yeah, that was the script that we had decided on eventually. I mean, I was not too adamant on it being written like in the standard format or anything. It was just make sure the idea is down and correct. And I do feel like eventually I don't want to like rub it in. I feel like I was correct in that we were not all on the exact same page when it came to what we wanted it to be or how we wanted to look. It wasn't anything like major discrepancies. Like all of us pretty much like got the idea. Jenny wants to go straight ahead and just start drawing things, and I was like, no, man.
Because like, you know, I think I communicate better with pictures, but Nathaniel was he was very right about writing a script, because sometimes I don't just draw the picture. Sometimes I bullet point what I'm going to do, like she's here and then she's there and then she's there, and then like that functions as my script. But I wasn't thinking of it as a script, and he's like, no, that counts as a script as well,
which is what I was expecting really. So when it got written up in like proper format, I was like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, this is great. Wait, who did that? Was it Adam that had written it up in?
Yeah,
I think
after a long debate who should write the script.
I mean, he was doing the storyboard. Adam, you want to chime in on that one?
the dream team.
No? That's like, nah.
Okay. I guess we'll show Hutch's thing last. So these are the iterations that we're talking about. For number 2 is the one that Jenny was saying is how Danielle sees herself.
Oh yeah.
Talk about your characters, Daniel. Your thought process.
Okay, so I remember I think it was Adam and Jamil that sent like some references of there's like this old woman in our room and she was on our computer, and then I think there's another thing, I remember what it was, and then I kind of went off that and like, okay, this is what we want something really simple that can be animated. So I just went as simple as possible, which I like to do. I don't like to draw like complicated or detailed things. So
I
like,
loved you for that. Made my life very easy.
so I I just designed based off our conversations and how I think an artist looks like in the room. I think we discussed that as well. Like, what's an artist? What do they wear? What's their background look like and stuff like that.
So, I mean, Kimani, you still have the website up showing the designs?
Yeah, the website.
Yeah. So I want to know what the idea was behind the French-looking one. The mustache, antenna curled over and like the beret and the little goatee thing. Yo, that one's hilarious. I love it.
That's number 3. Yeah.
Number 3, yeah. Yo, number 4 ended up looking like Cyanide and Happiness.
That's mine.
Oh. It's not a Honestly,
It looked
can't
like a
tell if I'm
beret.
showing
Was
it
it
up.
hair? It's hilarious. The
Yeah, I
mom.
think yeah. It's here. It's here. It's like her puff.
Mm.
And the other one, he number three. It's not a beret. It's like her sleeping mask on the head.
Oh, that makes
Yeah, so I just
sense.
tried to like continue so you can at least tell that it was the same character. Just give like features that would match.
Mm. It felt very French. I liked it.
All right. We already went to the storyboard thing. Adam, do you want to talk about the storyboard though?
Can mention the apps you used and whatnot.
I mean, sure. Once we kind of had most of the script sort of done. I mean, it wasn't completely finished. But the script and the storyboard kind of worked simultaneously in a way, and I just kind of got drawing from there. I think because of the images that we sent to Daniel for references for characters was also kind of the layout that we wanted to go with for the whole look, like what the room
Yeah, the
what the room
perspective.
will look like and all that, the perspective. Yeah. So I just kind of started from there, and thankfully, like Daniel's character designs are also very easy to draw. So very easy to draw many times for storyboarding. So it was perfect with that, and it was very very humorous, especially the transformation scene that we did. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just kind of did this in Photoshop, to be honest. In terms of software, I didn't use anything specific.
Did
I like, yeah.
did you come up? You came up with the background, basically like all the stuff inside there, or Kimani came up with the background first and then you drew the storyboards? Because
I
I can't.
don't think we had the background sketch yet. So
Yeah, I think it was
had,
you.
yeah, I had done that. I know that we had spoken about what the room would look like. Johnny making fun of my messy room.
That was very
callback.
neat.
I zhuzhed it up a little bit. But yeah, we kind of knew that in terms of this is the average artist room. It's also their bedroom. It's just a closed off space that they can work.
Yeah.
There's something about this process that I really enjoyed is that everybody was mad busy around this time. Like everybody had work, everybody had a bunch of stuff doing. So we'd have a meeting every week and we'd set goals for this meeting, and then we'd come to the meeting without the goals met. And we'd just be like, right now we're going to do this thing. And I think the storyboards was one of them. Like Adam just did boards.
The whole thing, right?
So like that conversation about what the room looked like, that was happening live as Adam was drawing it, and then like we're talking about what we're going to have in the back, like how many things we want to stuff in there, like if do we want any Easter eggs, blah blah blah. And then I was like, remember that this is going to be a vertical video. So like even after Adam figured out what was in the like how the background would vibe, then Kimani still had to go back and like redo it basically and make it work. And and that was also like a live session because he came with a little shame face to the next meeting. I was like, I was just like, all right, let's just do this. And he drew it and he painted it, and then we all were doing screenshots and was like, maybe tilt the bed like this, maybe angle this thing right here. So it was very nice. It was a lot like drawing on top of each other's stuff. If we were there physically, we're drawing on top of each other's stuff. And the concept for or the style frames for the actual transformation, the zap, that happened right then. So we were like, maybe not that color combination, maybe I want to switch this color around, blah blah blah. Lots of that was happening live, and it was nice. And that way, every meeting was very productive. So
most of the time things were done.
Might want to consider that approach. Maybe you're working with a team and the team is unfamiliar with each other, and y'all aren't sure that communication is as clear as it needs to be. Maybe just getting together on stream, just drawing live and then giving each other notes is the thing that works for you.
I think the most important part of that was that we had scheduled a specific time every single week. And so everybody knew at that time we were supposed to be there. So even though we had set deadlines for these things and all of us are working people, very busy, we set aside time to have the meeting. So we just ended up using that time that was already set aside to work as well. So that's really the approach that probably might make sense, is just set aside the time, like just stick to it.
Then after, all right, so after storyboards for Adam, then it was animatic for me.
Next thing on the website, sound design and background.
We spoke about the background design and the
Well, yeah, we kind of spoke about both a while ago, and we spoke about the sound design. The style frames you can see on the side, that was all Kimani, as far as I remember. Like, he just came up with this really cool idea. He's like, yo, I have this idea, and like everything could have warp and just look kind of wild. And I was just like, yeah, man, do you think? It came out amazing. Like, honestly, that section in particular, I feel like that really sold the transformation. That's my opinion, at least.
And like I said before, we had been keeping in line with like our brand guide of like who we were as a community. So like all those colors are Dream Dust colors basically. And he just made it well. And we have to give credit where credit is due. Our branding has been done by we have a creative director, guys, and you guys don't see him at all. Like the community hasn't seen him around much, but like our creative director is Leo Rule, and he's basically every single thing that we've done visually for Dream Dust has been like directed by an invisible hand, his hand. So like when it came to this production, we didn't have to mess around too much with like what's the vibe, what's the color, none of that. We said we had these things and we had these elements and this is what we're going to make work. So they said think outside the box. Sometimes you just need to choose the box that you're in, and that was our box, and we just used that stuff. So after the storyboards, it was time to animatic it. And I decided to do that. I started figuring out the layout. Well, the background was happening, of course, but like at some point, during the background session, since we all had contributed to it, I did like a rough sketch of that and put it into Toon Boom. I was using Toon Boom to do the animatic. Thing about animatics for me is that like since nobody really taught me at this point, nobody had really taught me how to do like properly how to do storyboards and animatics. And coming up through college, I never learned how to do it. It's always been something of a struggle for me to balance doing just like key animation, and just enough poses for it to work as an animatic. But then I was like, this is dumb. I'm actually going to be the key animator, or like the first animator, the rough animator on this. So I might as well do key poses. So that's what I did for. I hope I'm not confusing y'all. So that's what I did.
Just to add to that.
Okay.
An animatic is where you figure out the actual timing of the animation. So when Jenny drew those key poses, it set it up for me so that I could essentially just do in-betweening, which was my initial job. So she did figure out like the main important extremes, is what they call them, of a pose as the character transitions from one movement to the other. So and that's...
During the storyboards, Adam had figured out like what the acting vibe would have been. During the animatic, like I nailed down exactly what the character was going to do and like the pacing of it and whatnot.
There was a section that in the storyboard that got cut out because it was supposed to loop perfectly at the end, which Adam has in his storyboards, where after she transforms and she lands back on the chair, then after like a couple of seconds, the antenna pop back out of her head because she starts hunching over after she's pulled herself. So she's sitting up straight and she's drawing, and then slowly she starts hunching back over again and the antenna pop back up because she's about to transform back into the shrimp. But we had cut that part out because we only had 15 seconds to work with. So then Jenny had tied that down at that point in time that, okay, this is where it stops.
That
We
was
can
a
end.
live session. Like I had done some stuff, and you guys were like, "We need to change the timing here. We need to change the timing there." Blah 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 blah.
Mm.
And that was another. Most of this production happened live, like in our meetings every week. So we'd be here for hours and hours and hours, like 4 hours. In a meeting is regular for us. And to be honest, it's not just here with the 4 hour meetings. We're doing it at like work as well. So if you find yourself spending hours and hours and hours in a meeting working something out, that's normal. That's regular. It's fine. So yeah, that animatic session was I didn't start everything in the session in the meeting, but it turned into like a live work stream. And then after that, I passed it on to Nathaniel, and there was like
There was a long delay. I was extremely busy at that time because we were late. I remember that much. We were late on meeting the deadlines for each section. So as we mentioned, every time we hit that meeting, we had to do work. And then the window was closing on when I would actually be available, because I was available during the time that we had outlined. But because we had missed so many deadlines, when it got really close to my time to work on it, I had to start work on a larger project. And so by the time I had gotten my hands on it, I couldn't touch it for a little while. And so I think I put the longest delay on the entire project out of everybody. But yeah, I work straight off of my iPad. I mean, I guess I can just run into talking about my experience now. So something I had noticed was Jenny's key poses weren't entirely on models. So if you look at the it definitely sped up my workflow regardless, like because I could still the actual like gesture of the pose was still there. I just had to tie down the design to match Daniel's character designs as close as possible. So I work on my iPad. I had Calipeg open. That's the animation software that I use. And there's a nice little reference window, which I had Daniel's drawings up in, constantly looking back and forth between them and my and Genial's drawing, which was on a layer below. And the opacity was dropped down. So essentially tracing them to an extent and then changing the design to match Daniel's as close as possible. And then I'd move into drawing the in-betweens. Initially...
Hold on. I just want to know that, guys, when you're late on something, you mess up affect the entire production that comes afterwards. Because Annie was late with those the character turns. Like she'd done like all the concepts and the final design, but like the turns, they were late, which then affected my work, which then affected Nathaniel.
So if you mess up on deadlines, it's a butterfly effect, or domino effect rather. If you're working on a team, especially in corporate or in a studio, your job to meet your deadline is going to affect everybody. And unfortunately, in the actual industry, there is no leeway. This is a personal project. So like, we got away with it. But if you mess up on a larger project that is paid, it's going to cost you and the company and whoever else. Like it's a pretty big deal. So you have to be very strict with your deadlines. Like you meet them or you communicate properly, so at least people can adjust time frames to accommodate. So like if you're not going to deliver, you have to talk. You have to talk with the team members like, hey, yo, not really meeting this thing, or I'm missing this right now. If you need information, you talk up, let them know. And most of the time, people are very understanding. Most of the time, they will try and accommodate, especially if you're very early in telling them what's going on. So the team knew, for the most part, that, yo, I just can't work on it right now. There was a point where it's just like, all right, we don't really have a choice. We have to just start working on it. So I had to like pull overtime, essentially, and finish it up. It did take a lot longer than everybody's section also. So after I got my hands on it, besides taking a while to start, it took a while to finish because I had a good chunk of work to do at that point, because besides doing the in-betweening, also was supposed to clean up and color, and I was doing special effects. And so at that point in time, I had initially planned to clean up my sketches, But I was drawing so neat from the get-go, I just went straight into animating everything, and it was just clean by the time I was done. My lines were not closed, though, which did create an issue because Calipeg's not so great at like bucket filling things. My mistake was not letting the team know at that point in time that that was an issue, and I just went straight into like trying to solve the problem myself and fixing it. And Kimani told me after the fact that if I had just handed him off the line art, that there's a feature in what is it that you were saying that you can detect and close lines and just bucket fill? Is it TV Paint?
Yeah, man, but I did just magic on that.
Yeah, so I can't do that on Calipeg, and my computer at the time I didn't have any animation apps to use. So this is why you should talk up and ask for help, guys, because that could have sped up the entire delivery of the project. But I mean, there is part of the video that we showed earlier. You can see me outlining the entire silhouette of the character first, and then bucket filling that to make sure it didn't spill out into the canvas. But yeah, special effects is really fun to do, and then after that, it was just handed off onto Joelle to do her magic and clean up and tie down everything.
And that was another live work session wasn't it? Was it? Yeah.
It was. I think that session happened as Nathaniel said, we were getting into the crunch of the timeline period. And I was like, there was the request to, like screen record it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had gotten all the files there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start it now. And it's odd because I think we spent maybe like an hour and 15 minutes on that call, just talking and watching me work, and I was almost done in the time period. So it was a moment of, we could have really done this quicker if we just like met the time. But and I think, working real time, as Jenny said, was really beneficial because I think we were problem solving while animating. I remember with the notifications, we were talking about what emojis to use, the ding effect, like, okay, let's make them think that it's actually coming from their phone. And Kimani was able to real time get the sound effects. Yeah, I mean,
we had decided on the I remember that was a debate, like what sound effect, what sound notification were we going to use? Of course, the most iconic one is iPhone, so we went with that one. Which actually tricked a couple people while watching it.
It tricked me. Joel sent the video and I watched it in my phone, and legit when the message came down, I was like, I'm watching this animation to go. I was like, oh no, it is the animation. And I knew that it was coming.
No man, I don't know if Kimani remembers, but I remember we were saying that, iPhone do the thing where like if the play audio, it kind of fade it out for like let through the thing where like I have to do that so it sound really real.
That was not a discussion with the entire team. I don't remember that one at all. But
I remember.
Kimani, you remember it though?
When I believe you were way too busy to even like once you got your part done, I think
I had to dip out. It was just like, yeah man, I'm out. I have other work to get done, and I just like dipped. That sounds about right, even if it's not. That is something I would have done.
Yeah,
and that was our process. Like lots of communication, waiting out deadlines, work sessions instead of just like meetings. And then we had our final product, and we released it to the world, and y'all failed us except for Deborah. Deborah was great.
Who is Deborah?
Was that a Volvo? Was that like a classic Volvo that drove past?
Guys, I just want to say one of my favorite parts, which I don't think we spoke about, for the backgrounds, we all took a picture of our setup. And just seeing the setup was really interesting. And the background is basically a reflection of all of our rooms.
All of us. Yeah, remember Daniel and I had the dog off. Like whose dog? Whose dog is cuter to go under the table?
But Joel have two dogs, so
Yeah, apparently my dog is
and
cute.
an inside dog.
It's true. That wasn't the inside dog. But I
Listen, you
mean,
can't tell him that. He's been inside under the
well,
chair.
You can fit under your bed and them things.
boy,
That's stereotyping, not because.
Adam also sent his dog pictures at the time, but yeah, his dogs are also two doggies, as you have described them.
But I don't think that was no.
Anyway, I want us to just play Hachi's bumper real quick. It's also on the website. And then we'll wrap up and call it.
Yeah,
and move to the other.
we are seriously about to run into like our next panel talk that we've
You
set up.
definitely need to watch that
We
one in
need to see
particular.
that one. Like it's really important for you guys to see that one. So
Yep.
now we're gonna dip very quickly after this. And in about 5 minutes we're up again.
You're. Oh, hold on. Let me turn on the sound. Gotcha.
Do I mute?
Yeah, that's it. And as you can see, we didn't really. Hold on. Let me show you guys our faces. Okay. That's it.
Where are we being seen now? Hi.
Yes, you're being seen now.
Yeah, okay.
So as you can see, Hachi did not
Pelos.
use the shrimp one. She used a different one. So that's we sent the list for the different prompts. Only one of them get used out of the like 50 million when we did do. But yeah.
There were some ideas that got scrapped. I don't remember what they were.
I know that Nick and Gary were working together on one. They just didn't finish it in time. Animation take long. And just like how we as a team of 6 struggled to meet a deadline because, we were doing stuff.
It took how long? That was like 2-3 months.
I think it was 2 months.
Yeah.
Did we take
Yeah,
2
about
months?
that.
About 2 months.
Yeah, it was about 2 months.
2 months.
It was about, yeah.
I know it was like around January or February or so. We had.
Yeah.
We've got to go there. So.
Yes, so goodbye.
Bye. We'll see you in
Bye,
minutes.
guys. See you in the next chat. Or rather, I will be in the chat with you guys.
Are we out?